So in this first part, we're going to be covering autocodes. This is putting in variable information, usually to do with best before dates, time codes, that sort of thing. So we're going to create message, and then we're going to create new, and I'm going to call this time code. And then hit confirm. And last time in the first tutorial we saw we used the text field on the top there. We're going to go ahead on this one and use autocode field. And when we press that, we notice that it comes up with the left hand side, we've got time codes, and we've got date codes on the right hand side, a counter, and then shift codes. So in this first tutorial part, I'm going to cover time codes. So I'm going to hit the arrow on time codes. Now this is for specifically putting in hours, minutes, and seconds into a message. So on the top here we can see the format, hours, minutes, and seconds. So we can go ahead and change that format by hitting this recycle logo here. And you see it's changed from hours, minutes, seconds now to hours and minutes. Hit it again, hours, minutes, seconds, but without the colon in between each. Hit it again, hours and minutes again without the colon, just hours, just minutes, and just seconds. And then back to the first one, hours, minutes, seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that field into the message, and you can see right here it's now putting in hours, minutes, and seconds. And like before, I can go into the font, and now I can change the font size down to a 7 and move it around in the field. So that's a basic time code with predefined hours, minutes, seconds format. So that's time codes. Now if we moved over to date codes, we see we're on the left hand side now we have normal dates. On the right hand side we have expiration dates. A normal date is today's production date. It's going to be printing today's date. An expiration date is where we're printing a date that is 30, 60, 90 days or a year in advance to show the expiration of the product that we're printing onto. So for normal date, we're going into the arrow, and again, like the time codes, we're now choosing the format. Month, day, year with a backslash in between, day, month, year for the UK, day, month, year with the backslash, year, month, day with the backslash, month, day, 4-digit year, month, day, 4-digit year with backslash, day, month, 4-digit year, and so on. And we can scroll through these and see no end of different combinations. So I'm going to choose a month, day, year with backslash, 2-digit year, and I'm going to add that into the message. And you can see here again, it's got month, day, year, today's date, and again in the font, I can now change this down to a 7 dot font and move it around. So what if I wanted a date to show that was 30 days from the manufacturing date, to show that a product has a 30-day expiration? So again, I'm going to go into expiry date, and now it shows me days, months, weeks, years. And I can put a message, so 30 days would be this one, so we're going to go into days, and we're going to type in here 30 and enter. And then down here, again, as before, we have the format, month, day, year. This is what I want, a 2-digit month, 2-digit day with a 2-digit year. So I'm going to go ahead and add this, and you can see now we've counted 30 days on from today, and it's now the 19th of May 2020. As before, I can go into the font, and I can change the font size down to 7 high and move it around. So what if we wanted the year format to change? For example, a 1-digit year or a 4-digit year. We would go into the year codes, and here we can select 4-digit, 2-digit, 1-digit, day of year, which is the Julian day, program year, program day of year. So, for example, if I wanted to manually put in the 2020 date into a message to hide the 2020, I would just go ahead and hit the plus key next to the 2020, and as you see, it's put it in there. So the last two to cover on date codes are rollover date and expiry rollover date. In a lot of applications in manufacturing, producers don't finish a batch until the end of a shift. That shift may roll over into the next day, but they need the same expiration date printing on their product from the previous day. By adding a rollover date, we can put here the rollover in so many hours. For example, if the shift doesn't finish until 6 o'clock in the morning, then you would want to code the same code throughout the whole day. Then you would add a rollover of 6 hours onto the day's manufacturing. Now the midnight would roll over to 6 a.m. and then the date change would take place at 6 a.m., not midnight. The expiry rollover date is identical, but with expiration dates, not manufacturing dates. There's two more tabs that we need to talk about in autocode field. One is counter and the other is shift codes. Let's talk about counter here. Before we actually add a counter, we need to set the parameters of that count. For example, whether it's a 4-digit count, a 3-digit count, whether it's incrementing in 1, 2, 3 or 2, 4, 6, how many times it's repeating that count. So before we add a count, back into the message editing screen, we have to click on the Advanced tab, and then at the bottom we see the Counters button, and now we can start setting our parameters of the counter. So this is counter number 1. We're going to program, it's going to be incrementing in steps of 1. The start count is pretty much always going to be 1, not 0. And the end count, I'm going to make it a 4-digit count. So I'm going to change this to 4 digits. The leading zeros I need to be on because I need it to always be a 4-digit code. And the repeat is 0. The repeat is how many times you want each number to repeat itself. So 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, etc. Now we've set this, we can go back into the edit message screen and we can go ahead and type in a new, and I'm going to do an autocode field and a counter and counter 1, and I'm going to add it. And there's my 4-digit code, and it's going to be incrementing in steps of 1 with the leading zeros. So the last part under the autocode field are the shift codes. And as per the counter fields, we cannot add a shift code until we have configured how many shifts, what the shift start times are, and what we want to print per shift. So to do that, just like the counter, we go back into the message screen and into the advanced button. When we go to the advanced button, we can see the counters where we were last time. We're going to go into date and time this time. Bottom left here, we see the shift codes. We're going to hit that button there. And here we see the 4 segments. Top right, we see the shifts, number of shifts. Top left, we see the shift we're looking at controlling or changing, the start time for shift 1, and what it's going to be printing. What it's going to be printing depends on the customer. It can be printing A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, or whatever the customer requires. So let's go ahead and change this to 3 shifts. Scroll down until we see the number 3 appear, and then shift 1, we're going to be starting at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Confirm that, and then I'll leave this printing whatever it's going to be printing. Shift 2 now is going to be starting at 2 p.m. So put 2 p.m. in there, and that's going to be printing whatever it prints. And then shift 3 is going to be starting at 10 p.m. Put that in there. And again, it's going to be printing something different for shift 3. Once we've done all this, we can go back into the message. And now we can add a new, and we're going to go up into auto code field and then into the shift codes and add a shift code. And it's now printing the correct shift code for the time it is currently.